Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 616, 616, November 24th, 2018, Saturday. Well, before I get to some of the news of the day, I want to start by just commenting on this narrative now that's been floating out there for about a week. And I understand it. It's a tactic. It's a ploy. But I just want to kind of get this out because it's something people are talking about. I'm pretty sure all of you already know how I would feel about it, and it's probably the same way nearly, if not all of you, feel about it. And that's this narrative that, well, if Trump indicts the Right Reverend Clinton or Comey or Lynch or Yates or Brennan or any of the rest of the deep state coup plotters, that he will then be impeached. That's the narrative. Oh, if Trump goes after these people, he's going to be impeached. And this narrative has been out there for about a week now, and I'm not sure exactly where it started, but it's a common tactic. It's kind of a fear tactic. It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. Let's think this through. Trump appoints a special, or he appoints his attorney general, whoever that may be, whether it be Whitaker, whoever he appoints to be the permanent attorney general, gets confirmed, gets in there, appoints a special counsel, or Trump does a presidential commission, or maybe it's investigated within the DOJ, or maybe somebody like a John Dean type rat comes out and turns on everybody because he's pressured or whatever. Let's just say any of these things happen and the deep state criminals end up being indicted and going to jail or charged or what have you. So what happens? What, they're going to go after Trump and say, oh, okay, well, you put an attorney general in to go after your political enemies. So we're going to have an impeachment hearing because you went after your political enemies. When in fact, the reality is the entire thing that's being exposed and the people who are being charged are the people from the previous administration that went after Trump, their political enemy. And that's the truth that's being exposed. So right off the top, that kills their entire narrative. But even if they wanted to pursue that narrative and say, okay, he's indicting Comey, he's indicting Clinton, he's indicting Lynch, he's indicting all these people, okay, we're going to go have impeachment hearings. Good luck. Good luck with that. You can't impeach the president because his attorney general did an investigation and found crimes and indicted those people. If there's no crimes, then the people won't be indicted. When they go into the grand jury and either lie and get in trouble for lying and get indicted for lying, or they tell the truth and get indicted because they admit to the crimes that they were a part of, in which case they're probably cutting a deal and becoming a witness for the state, turning on other people. Any of these types of events happen, it's still all going to shake itself out in court. In court, where the facts will determine exactly who did what and who's guilty of what. The entire thing's a smokescreen. And I'm sure Trump is not stupid enough to fall for that. Now, they can bring a lot of media pressure, and of course the media is the very best tool that the deep state has. In fact, if they did not have the media as their tool, this thing would have been over a long time ago. This is the major challenge. How do you overcome the media? That's a powerful weapon. Many people don't like to admit it. Yes, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CNN, blah, blah, blah. They all suck. Nobody cares. Nobody believes them. Bullshit. Think about this. For all of us, we follow these stories closely. This is something we're all into. This is something we all care about. We're passionate about it, right? But think about this, my friends. We're about 1 in 20. 1 in 20. The majority, overwhelming majority of people do not even care about this stuff, do not follow this stuff. They're worried about, their kids' soccer games, worried about this, worried about that, thinking about this, doing that. Most people don't sit around and follow this stuff the way we do. We are 1 in 20, likely, in that range. And these people who do get news feeds and stuff, they have a CNN app or a ABC app or an NBC app or a PBS app, and they get little updates on their phones. Oh, here's a top of the news headline here. Oh, okay, blah 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 blah. This is how it works. For most people are not locked in, or not tuned in, or not even aware of any of the things that we discuss here. The media is a powerful weapon. and it is being used very effectively as a weapon in this titanic struggle for the truth. And we're not winning, by the way. We're not winning the media war. We're giving it a hell of a run. We're doing the best we can. But absolutely, the media narrative may be, yes, if Trump indicts all these people, or his attorney general he appoints goes after these people and indicts them, we'll go after Trump for going after his political enemies. This is all bull. Because going after your political enemies, well, you know what? If your political enemies committed crimes, you're going to be successful. Everybody goes after their political enemies in Washington. Most of the time, it's just smoke and mirrors. Most of the time, it's just garbage. But in the case of Spygate, it's not. There were actual heavy-duty, hardcore crimes. Treason. Violating all sorts of laws in the process of the frame-up on Trump. Spygate. The facts will come out in court. There is no law that you can charge a president for going after political enemies. That isn't. There's no crime on the books. There's no law on the books. No ordinance on the books that you can charge a president or impeach a president because he went after his political enemies. You can have the trials. You can have the hearings, but once it makes in the House, but once it goes to the Senate where the trial happens, Trump's got 2/3. He's got a majority in the Senate. And you need 2/3 vote to convict the president, and it would never happen. What are the Democrats going to do when it makes it into the Senate, and the Democratic senators say, yeah, well, we're here to do the trial for Trump for going after his political enemies. Is that a crime? No, it is not. No, it's not. If Trump appoints an attorney general and he investigates crimes and finds evidence of war crimes, and then he takes it to a grand jury, calls people in, interviews them, puts them on the witness stand, does the Q&A, determines who lied, who told the truth, who did what, and when he finds there's crimes, he prosecutes them. Trump has nothing to do with that, other than the fact that he appointed the attorney general. Trump doesn't personally go after these people. It's the attorney general. Now, he gets on Twitter and tweets about it all the time. He's campaigned on it. Talked about draining the swamp. Talked about putting the rotten Reverend Clinton and Comey in jail. There's no law against that. Hasn't broken any laws. It's a fear tactic. It's a smoke and screen fear tactic by the weaponized media. The important thing is that you have to be smart enough, and I do believe the majority of people that we follow here, Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows and Andy Biggs and all these guys, along with Trump, they understand this completely. This is not going to work on them. They're not backing off at all because of some silly threat like this. This is it's a media game. It's so much of how this thing has been playing out and will continue to be played out. It's going to be using the media as the weapon to try to turn people and affect public opinion. Because if you can get enough people to believe the BS, it's not about so much impeachment as it is about winning elections or handcuffing the president, driving down his approval ratings so that his ability to function or do the things he wants to do, he's handcuffed. This is a total media strategy by the deep state, not a legal strategy. It is not a legal strategy. The facts are, if these individuals committed crimes, then they can be and should be indicted. If they did not, it doesn't matter what the president tweets out or says, or what his attorney general tries to go after. What, his attorney general is going to try to go after Trump's political enemies? He's going to throw a bunch of crazy charges against the wall? What, he's going to go into court, have the grand jury there, and he's going to throw this garbage that's not really evidence, and nothing's going to happen because it was all just a show? Well, that would be even more disastrous, not just for the attorney general, but for Trump himself. It only succeeds if, in fact, there's actually strong cases with good evidence, and the grand jury finds the individuals as having lied or having committed the crime. It's all smoke and mirrors. And I certainly don't think I need to say this, but just in case I do, Mr. President, Fight, fight, fight. Appoint any damn attorney general you want, including Mr. Whitaker, or John Ratcliffe, or Joe DeGeneva. Although, as much as I love Joe DeGeneva, I don't know if he would get confirmed even by Republicans in the Senate. But the bottom line is, this is all BS. It's part of the weaponized media strategy, because they know what's at stake, and they know they can't win on the facts and on the evidence in court. So they're going to try to win on public opinion by influencing the public using the weaponized media. That's the long and short of it. It's very simple. And I think most of you know that. Have the fight. Have the fight. You'll win. Don't be afraid to win. Don't be afraid to fight when you have to. Sometimes you gotta fight. Your best advice is to walk away in most cases, but sometimes you have to fight. In this case, we've been given no choice. It's all or nothing here. We've not been given a choice. We didn't start this fight. We didn't start this fight. But we damn sure better finish it, or we'll be finished. We're not being given a choice here. The fight was brought to us, and it's a fight to the death. A blood match, a death match. Sometimes somebody won't let you walk away. You gotta fight. And when you do, you go at it hard with everything you got, and you win the damn fight. Clinton Foundation donations are down 90% since the rotten Reverend Clinton lost the election. Let me say that again in case you thought I misspoke. And if you want the numbers, I'll be more than happy to give them to you. Or you can go find them for yourself. They're all over the place. Google it. Clinton Foundation donations are down 90% since the rotten Reverend Clinton lost the election. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that donations to the Clinton Foundation are down 90% since the rotten Reverend Clinton lost the election in embarrassing fashion? Why do you think that is? Any ideas? I'll be checking the comments section for your thoughts on that. I'm sure I'll find some real beauties. Mr. Misfit, the Maltese professor. Well, his spokesperson and attorney, Stephen Rowe, it appears, according to what he said to the BuzzFeed reporter he was talking to, it appears Stephen Rowe is arranging for Misfit to testify to the Senate Intelligence Committee. That's Burr and Warner's committee, is it not? The most deep state committee. They are the committee that provides cover for the deep state. That's who they are. They provide cover to the deep state. The Senate Intelligence Committee, headed up by Burr and Warner. Little Marco's on that committee. Susan Collins is on that committee. And a bunch of other deep staters. Burr and Warner were, or at least Warner himself, was involved in the coup plot. We know from the Strzok page texts. Not only that, we have Burr, who says that it will be at least another 6 months before his committee's Russia probe will be concluded. That's right. Another 6 months. The Senate Intelligence Committee is going to continue to look at the Russia probe. Believe me, friends, it ain't going to stop. It's going to keep going until 2020. And if that doesn't work, they'll go till 2024. They have no intention of ending any probes, investigations into Trump. That's their defense. Their offense is their defense. Because they have no offense other than defense. The fact that Misfit is going to go to the Senate Intelligence Committee tells us a lot. The Senate Intelligence Committee is not the least bit interested in hearing Misfit sit down there in front of them and say, oh yeah, I was working for the FBI when I planted that info on Papadopoulos. He denies, in the past, he denies that he told Papadopoulos about rotten Reverend Clinton emails. He's always denied that up to this point, but he was never under oath. Once he's under oath, do you think he'll continue to say that he never told Papadopoulos that? Oh, I'm sure he did. I don't think Papadopoulos is making that up. That's where it all began. He was the guy who was supposed to plant that with Papadopoulos so that Halper could get it out of him. And then, when Papadopoulos spit the bit and didn't give it to Halper, they brought in Downer. And they said it doesn't even matter if Papadopoulos says anything about it. Just say he did. You're Alexander Downer. Down the hatch Downer. You got all the cred. He's a peon. Who are they going to believe? Besides, we just need it to launch our investigation. Operation Crossfire Hurricane. And once we destroy Trump, Hillary will win, and it'll all be taken care of. No one will ever know. Of course, it didn't work out that way, did it? No, Mr. Misfit or Mr. Rowe, if you want to tell the truth, do it in an open public hearing, or just come out and do an interview. You don't have to go to the Congress in the United States. You're in Italy or England or wherever the hell you're at, Mr. Misfit. You and your attorney call for a press conference, sit there and give a press conference, and tell us what you got. Tell us what you know. Tell us what you did. Tell us who you were working for. Tell us why. Tell us if you knew Halper. Did you know Downer? Were you part of a plot with them? Just spill the beans, Mr. Misfit. You don't need a committee in Congress. You're a perfectly free man. Hold a press conference. Write a fucking book, Mr. Misfit. The fact that you want to go to the Senate Intelligence Committee tells me that you're looking for cover. You're looking for cover. If Uncle Bob the Executioner went after Papadopoulos for being part of the Russian plot, and Papadopoulos said that Misfit gave him the information, then that means that Misfit was part of the Russian plot. And Mueller interviewed Misfit. Why didn't he get indicted? I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here. Misfit is feeling the heat, and he's looking for cover. He needs to cut a deal. He's going to go behind closed doors, or make a threat to go behind closed doors with the Senate Intelligence Committee, because he wants Uncle Bob to give him a call so they can cut a deal. So he can say, well, Uncle Bob, I'll say anything you want me to say. I just need some cover. My name's out there. I'm tired of living in a hole. I want to be able to get back to what I normally do, which is schmooze with Western intelligence agencies and work on ways to shake down idiots for some cash based on the line of BS that I've got. I'm a BS artist. That's what I do. I'm a grifter, and I like what I do. And I'm right now kind of being put in the hole. I just want to get out of the hole, Uncle Bob. What can you do for me? Misfit is trying to cover his ass. That's all this is about. Senate Intelligence Committee, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. Not going to get the truth from this guy. Believe it. Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch has just received a batch of Comey emails showing that he was spreading around classified information. He has those emails in his possession. Funny, The Judicial Watch can get them, but Uncle Bob can't. The House Intelligence Committee can't. Any other committees looking can't, but Judicial Watch can. Classified emails. James Comey doing exactly what Hillary did. Now we know why he couldn't prosecute Hillary. He was doing the same damn thing. In fact, he leaked it to his two buddies and then made them special agents of the FBI. And then what did he do? He named them as his lawyers. Why? So he could have attorney-client privilege, so that they can't testify against each other. This dude, Comey, he is one slick, devious son of a bitch. Makes J. Edgar Hoover look like a choir boy. He's very, very, very dirty. Very dirty man. Very dirty man. And I bet he would crumble like a house of cards if they set him down in the room and said, you know, Jim, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. Is there anything you'd like to say? I bet he'd start dropping dime on McCabe and Strzok and Obama and Lynch and everyone to cover his butt. That's the type of weasel he is, and everybody knows it. He is a weasel. Jerome Corsi, of course, is still talking about the fact that he's going to be indicted, but now there's people saying, I think Jack Posobiec saying that Corsi is cutting a deal. I don't know what kind of a deal he can cut. You don't know anything. I mean, Corsi is, you know, he's an alright guy or anything, but he's not connected at all to Trump or Trump Russia or Assange or any of that stuff. I mean, he's kind of a gadfly kind of guy. I don't know. My guess is he probably misspoke or told a lie or did something that's a process crime or something. He doesn't know anything, doesn't have anything. And, of course, the Trump-Russia collusion story is a hoax. But people still can, is Corsi going to drop the dime? Does Corsi got the goods? Is Corsi going to tell? He don't know nothing. He's a hack. He don't know nothing. He's just like Roger Stone. They're in the same planet. You know, they're in the same, deal. And, of course, it looks like Roger Stone's going to be off the hook because he produced the emails between him and Randy Credico, which shows that Credico was his source. Now, one thing that Stone is somewhat guilty of, which I don't think is a crime, is just BSing. He did a lot of BSing. He pretended to be a big man on campus, pretended to know a lot of things, have a lot of info, real deep inside info. That's what Stone always does. Just like Corsi and a lot of these other guys on the internet. They pretend to have deep secrets. They know people. They got sources. Which plays good to get them clicks. And get them FaceTime. Make them more popular. But now, both of them have probably got their tit in a ringer with Uncle Bob because of their bullshit. And that's all it was bullshit. Now they have to sit and admit that, well, I was making a lot of claims that weren't true. I didn't actually talk to Assange. I was lying. I was doing it to get more clicks. I was doing it to make people think I know more than I really did. Or more important than I really am. That's all these guys are, showboats. They got nothing, they know nothing. They're just being exposed as promoters, selfless promoters of garbage. To make themselves look like they're something bigger than what they really are. They're no different than you and I. They know nothing more than you and I. They produced never, during the entire campaign, they ever produced anything that was really anything. Just guys who happen to find themselves around the circle of people in D.C. That do all the same type of stuff. Just run a lot of bullshit. Waste no time on these individuals, my friends. Maybe they're entertaining. Okay. Maybe they make you feel better. Maybe they give you hope. The dopium. You need the dopium. Tune in, because Corsi and Stone push more dopium than anybody I've seen. BSers. Comey, of course, as you know, was subpoenaed. He says he's going to fight the subpoena. He's going to fight the subpoena. Why would he do that? Why would he fight the subpoena? Why does he just come in and talk, public or private, in front of the people or behind closed doors, or both? Talk about the unclassified stuff in open hearing. Talk about the classified stuff in a closed hearing, behind closed doors. Last time Comey and Lynch came to talk to Congress, both of them said about 100 times, I can't remember, I don't know, or I can't talk about that. They're frauds and criminals. I'm tired of this. Indict their asses. You've got the evidence. You don't need to ask them any more damn questions. All the evidence exists. You don't continue to interview liars. Detectives who interview people who lie to them don't continue to go back and interview them once they realize all they're getting is lies, especially when they got contradictory evidence. Tired of this. Tijuana has declared a humanitarian crisis. 5. You listening? Don Lemonhead? Crisis is the word they're using. 5,000 migrants have overrun the city. What's the plan for the deep state? I'll tell you exactly what the plan is. And the Democrats are helping, along with that crooked left-wing nutcase judge. They want to create, essentially, a Palestinian-like conflict on our border with Mexico. They want to turn the border between U.S. and Mexico into the Gaza Strip. All for political purposes, to force Trump to do what the Israelis are pretty much forced to do, although I'm not advocating what the Israelis do. They're dirty as they can be, my friends. There are a lot of bad actors on both sides of that deal. And the same is true here. Bad actors who are behind this invasion, bad actors who are trying to turn it into a fiasco for the very purpose of hurting Trump. They don't care a lick about these people, or their suffering, or their misery, or anything else. They're being used as pawns. They don't give a damn what happens to these people. It's sickening. Angela Merkel, on her way out the door, couldn't help but drop one last bit of stupidity on us before she exits stage left. You're not going to believe this one. This is one of those, if you're swallowing right now, having a cup of coffee, whatever, go ahead and swallow. Get it down. If you're chewing on a donut, go ahead and inhale it. Swallow it now and chew it later. Clear your lungs. You ready for it? Here it comes. Merkel, quote, "In this day and age, states must be ready to give up sovereignty. Nationalist countries are not patriotic." Oh man. Oh man. Well, at least they're taking off the mask, right? If Brexit has done nothing else, it has forced these people to take off the mask. They've been unmasked, my friends. These emperors have taken off their clothes, and that's a scary thought when we're talking about Merkel and some of the groups she runs around with. These are some scary, ugly people, man. In this day and age, states must be ready to give up sovereignty. Nationalist countries are not patriotic. Where do you get this garbage? When could you sell this? In any other time in history, when could you sell some crap like that? And won't this only enrage people in Europe even more? Won't this only drive the populist movement even more? What do you think all those people in the populist movement sweeping Europe and all the people here in the U.S. and places around the world watching all this play out in their own countries, different versions of it, you think they're going to sit back, oh, okay, well, gosh, because Angela Merkel has told us that we need to give up our sovereignty and that nationalism is not patriotic. Oh, I guess we need to listen to Angela Merkel. Yeah, right. She's just been given a resounding defeat. You gotta wonder. I mean, these are how these people are when they're defeated. This is the same thing with the rotten Reverend Clinton or any of these other perps. When they are soundly defeated publicly, they still go on as if they're living in some sort of a alternative universe, as if none of this stuff is happening, as if they're not being exposed. They just go on. It's almost like when they become part of the deep state or global new world order or whatever you want to call it, when they become part of it, it's almost like they're hypnotized or given some sort of a crazy pill or something, that they live in an alternative reality. It's just hard to digest this stuff. Papadopoulos. Here's the latest tweet from Papadopoulos. Quote, "It's not really a secret who the British sources were that were illegally spying on Trump and me and others. They are fighting to keep this private. I will lay them out here." And he names them, all 6 of them. And there's more, but these are the 6 he names. Tobias Elwood, Stefan Halper, Alex Down the Hatch Downer, the British Embassy in the District of Columbia, the District of Criminals, GCHQ, and Erica Thompson. Well done, Pops. Well done. Good news. North and South Korea have met up at the historic Arrowhead Hill battleground and shook hands. This is, of course, now a demilitarized zone. It's also was the place where one of the bloodiest battles of the Korean War took place. This past October, both sides began removing the landmines from the area, and they will begin exhuming remains in that and other areas. And they will begin building a road through the DMZ, through that, around that area. That's good progress, telling you that things are going in the right direction between North and South Korea. This is a big effing deal, as Joe Bite Me would say. The streets of San Francisco, sidewalks adorned with poop and heroin needles. Report coming out today that the streets of San Francisco's sidewalks are adorned with poop and heroin needles. The streets of San Francisco. I used to enjoy that show. Carl Malden and Michael, what's his name? When he was a very young dude. Douglas. Michael Douglas. And I wonder how Carl Malden would handle that today. You're walking down the streets of San Francisco. All of a sudden, you encounter needles and human poop. What will you do? What will you do? Well, I don't think breaking out the American Express card is going to do you anything unless you can buy a pooper scooper and somebody come and get the needles out of the way. So I don't know what will you do, Carl. People have made some comments in the comment sections. I want to quickly reply to some of those. Not to go after you or beat up on you, but just to have a little fun and answer some of your questions in a public way. I normally just answer them in the comment section, but, you know, I got a minute or two left. Let me see. Jack Kennedy says, no, not a presidential commission. They're a cover-up. Well, yes, the Warren Commission was a cover-up. Yes, 9/11 Commission was a cover-up. The Tower Commission was pretty much of a cover-up. But the thing about the Presidential Commission, Jack, is that the people are appointed by the president. If you go back and watch my video when I first called for this, I said the president should appoint a 12-person citizen commission, and he should assign to them some lawyers, and they should have full access to request anything they want. The reason you want a presidential commission is because it's public. It will be carried on C-SPAN every day. We're losing the battle in the media war. The media war. We need to fight back on that front. And the best way to do it is with a presidential commission. Love you, Jack. That's my response to you not wanting a presidential commission. Thanks so much, my friend. I have more comments I'll be commenting on in the next video as well. Thanks so much. You guys have a good night. Be back tomorrow. Take care. Bye.